Hello, everybody. Will Boyd here. In Alabama, a primary presents registered voters with an opportunity to choose who they want to represent their party in the November election. Every vote counts equally across the state. There's no possibility of any gerrymandering. There's no involvement of an electoral college like a presidential type of race, but every vote cast goes directly to the candidate of choice. However, there's some in our state, right here in Alabama, who want to take away the voter's ability to choose. They even go as far as to ask publicly qualified candidates like myself to exit primary races. Can you believe that? There are those who believe that clearing a party's field or only having one candidate for any given office on the ballot will allow that one preferred candidate to receive all of the state or national money they believe they need to compete in a general election. Now, me personally, I don't believe races are all about money. I believe you can have someone who's wealthy and still yet ruin a country, ruin a state. At the same time, there's a presumption in Alabama that the candidate who raises the most money is the winner. If that is the presumption, why the need for primaries? At what point in our nation or even state's history did money become the determination of a candidate's viability for state office or even for federal office? There are some who want to make sure that races remain uncontested and that there are coronations of the candidate that they feel has the most name recognition. This is very dangerous. You can be very popular, but become very unproductive over time. Since when did primaries become, I'll call them popularity contests? We would not choose a primary care physician or a doctor based on popularity, based on how many likes or stars they have. We want to know what they can do. We want to know their success. There's not always a positive correlation between popularity and productivity. There are some in Alabama who, I'm embarrassed to say this, unashamedly argue that a person of color cannot win in Alabama in 2026. They do not even believe people of color should compete in races for certain constitutional offices, such as governor, lieutenant governor, and I'll just stop right there. People of color represent, by some estimates, 60% of the Democratic electorate, especially in primaries. But it's so sad that it's the same people of color who are needed to win Democratic primaries that are not regarded good enough to compete in them, even after they are, like myself, qualified to run for that office. There are some who also believe that there's no room for a primary candidate who is willing to get into race after race, fight in election cycle after election cycle, knowing that the odds are stacked against them. Some have the nerve sometimes to even say that I'm in races because I want to get rich or I'm trying to make money. But let me tell you, I spend so much of my money, so much of my time, I end up going in the hole when I run races. But candidates like myself are often called perennial candidates. In the plant world, though, an annual is one of those plants that springs up real fast. The roots don't grow deep. They come in, they bloom, they die, they never return. But perennial plants have deep roots. They're resilient. Their ability to weather storms allows them to be placed strategically in a way that they come back with their rooting system deep, season after season. They even hold the soil together underground. Every race that a candidate like myself runs helps us to have roots that grow much deeper. The more challenges so-called perennial candidates face, the more resilient we become. Winning or losing, each race presents us with the opportunity to learn more about our future constituents, each and every one of you. So I don't regret driving up and down the road, putting almost 300,000 miles on one car, 100,000 on another. There are some who believe, if I could go a little bit further, that these primary races need to be cleared. But clearing the fields don't always yield fields of change. Robust primaries serve as opportunities for candidates to show they have what it takes to lead. And such primaries present voters with more opportunities to see that they have a choice. So let me wrap this up very quickly by saying, asking any candidate who qualifies with either the Alabama State Party, either one, Republican, Democratic Party, asking them to leave the race for any of the assumptions I just listed is just pure wrong. It takes away the power of choice from voters. The next time someone asks the candidate you are supporting, no matter the odds stacked against her or him, to get out of the race, you simply ask them, show me some polling data to support why you would make such a suggestion. Don't let any candidate you know ever throw in the towel or capitulate to a system, a party, a machine, just because a few people in a smoke filled back room decided who they wanted to crown king or queen. Simply acting as if there has already been a coronation of any candidate before the qualifying period for a primary election has ended is wrong. Pushing for uncontested primaries does not hurt candidates. It hurts every one of us who vote. That's me and you. That's just what I wanted to share today. I'm so excited about where we're going as a state, so excited about campaigns that are beginning and launching. I've been on the road for nearly 6 months now, actually almost a year, really, filed in June. That made me eligible to serve as a candidate in Alabama with the Secretary of State, as I'd raised at that time over $1,000. But for the last 11 months, I've been traveling the state, just qualified. The first day of qualifications, I believe, was around January 5th. Put my name there on that paper, qualified with the necessary paperwork, and that means my name is on the ballot. I have been threatened. I have been talked about. My name has been smeared. And let me be very honest, I've run against Republicans for the offices of United States Representative, Lieutenant Governor, and U.S. Senate. I have never been attacked, lied on, smeared, and even treated so badly. My family has never been hit so badly by any Republicans. This hit job is by Democrats. What are my friends afraid of? We have an opportunity to win. Yes, winning is important, but so is governing. Check out my website, drwillboyd.com, and you'll see clearly I lay out policies for everything relating to the expansion of Alabama's economy, making healthcare truly affordable to every Alabamian, and of course, making sure our communities are stable. Now, there's so much more I talk about in those policies. You have to almost be there to see it. I can't put everything in a Facebook post, can't capture everything in a 30-second TikTok video, but I'm stepping out today in a different way to let you know, don't believe the noise you hear. Go and check things out for yourself. You'll see who the real candidate is in a particular race. You'll see who the one it is that you really want to work for you. Running elections, I'm not saying it's easy, but anybody can tell you anything. Anybody can show you what they did years ago or promise you what they're going to do in the future. But look at what a candidate has laid out in the way of a plan to lead our state forward. And I think you'll be pleased when you go to drwillboyd.com or listen to my videos. You'll hear I'm very specific, very detailed, but I'm very truthful. I don't hold back based on what I feel might be good or bad news to you. I tell you the truth. I'm what we used to talk about in my engineering background or even computer background as WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. The will you see right now is the will you're going to get when I'm governor. I'm going to fight for you every day. I won't quit when people talk about me, when people attack me, but I'm going to rise up every day trying to unify our state, trying to bring us together, because we are a lot of people with different backgrounds, even in the Democratic Party alone, have a lot of different ideas. That's why we're called the Big Tent Inclusive Party. But this is a moment for us to pull together and be strong. Alabama needs strong candidates who are not afraid to get out and to speak truth everywhere to everyone they can. That's what I've done for the last 11 months, and that's what I'm continuing to do. So no matter what rumors you hear about me being offered money, positions, and titles, and being told that to sit it out, to wait it out, and all those wonderful things people want to do, and all the attacks they want to launch against me, say my degrees aren't real, say I haven't been to school, say that I haven't done this or that, check out my record, and you'll see clearly I am who I said I am, and I do everything I say I'm going to do. I'm Will Boyd, and I approve this message. And in case you haven't heard my tagline before, I believe in you, Alabama. We don't have to imagine a better Alabama. We can build it right now together. Here's the tagline: Alabama can, Alabama will. I've already given you a disclaimer, but I'm going to do it again. I'm Will Boyd. I approve this message, and I hope you do also. Take care, my brothers and sisters. Love you. Have a wonderful day.